Homelessness is a complex issue that affects millions of people worldwide. It is a multifaceted problem that cannot be attributed to a single cause or solution. It affects people from all walks of life, regardless of age, race, or background. Each person has a unique story and set of circumstances that led them to this point. But women face unique challenges when they lose their homes. These challenges are often compounded by societal expectations and gender-specific vulnerabilities. In America, the face of homelessness is increasingly female. The reasons are vielfältig, ranging from economic instability to personal crises. They are often intertwined with poverty, lack of affordable housing, and domestic violence. These factors create a perfect storm that can push women out of their homes and onto the streets. We must shine a light on the struggles of these women. Their stories need to be heard, and their needs must be addressed with urgency and compassion. We must understand the systemic failures that leave them vulnerable. The numbers are startling and paint a grim picture of the current state of affairs. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, on any given night, tens of thousands of women experience homelessness. This statistic is a stark reminder of the scale of the problem. This includes single mothers, veterans, and survivors of abuse. Each group faces its own set of challenges and barriers to finding stable housing. These women are not statistics. They are individuals with hopes, dreams, and aspirations. They are mothers, daughters, sisters, and friends. They have families who care about them and communities that should support them. They are human beings deserving of our compassion and support. It is our collective responsibility to ensure they have the resources they need to rebuild their lives. The causes of homelessness among women are complex and multifaceted. They cannot be reduced to individual failings or poor choices. Often, it is a combination of factors that leads to life on the streets. Economic hardship, lack of affordable housing, and personal crises all contribute to this issue. Job loss, medical emergencies, and mental health issues can all play a role. These challenges can be overwhelming and difficult to navigate without support. For many women, the loss of a job or a medical emergency can be the tipping point that leads to homelessness. Mental health issues can further complicate their ability to find and maintain stable housing. But for women, escaping domestic violence is a leading cause of homelessness. They are often forced to flee their homes to protect themselves and their children. They are forced to choose between a dangerous home and the uncertainty of the streets. This is a choice no one should have to make. The plight of homeless women is a national crisis. It demands our attention and immediate action. We cannot continue to ignore the faces of mothers sleeping in cars with their children. These are real people with real needs. We cannot turn away from the pleas for help from women who have nowhere to turn. Their voices must be heard and their needs must be met. It is time to acknowledge their humanity, their struggles, and their right to safe, affordable housing. We must come together as a society to address this crisis and provide the support these women need to rebuild their lives.
Single mothers are the backbone of this country. They are the unsung heroes who juggle multiple roles and responsibilities every single day. From being the primary breadwinners to the emotional anchors of their families, their contributions are immeasurable. They work tirelessly to provide for their children. Whether it's burning the midnight oil to complete work assignments or preparing meals while ensuring their children are safe and happy, their dedication is unwavering. They often hold down multiple jobs, struggling to make ends meet. The reality for many single mothers is a relentless cycle of work, with little time for rest or self-care. They take on roles in various sectors, from fast food to housekeeping, just to keep their families afloat. Yet, they are disproportionately affected by the housing crisis. The threat of eviction looms large, and many find themselves in shelters, trying to provide a semblance of normalcy for their children amidst chaos. The cost of living continues to rise, while wages remain stagnant. Groceries, utilities, and gas prices are skyrocketing, making it increasingly difficult for single mothers to manage their finances. This leaves many single mothers one paycheck away from homelessness. The margin for error is razor thin, and any unexpected expense can push them over the edge. The lack of affordable childcare exacerbates the problem. Without reliable and affordable childcare options, many single mothers are forced to make difficult choices between earning a living and caring for their children. Many single mothers are forced to choose between paying rent and providing for their children's basic needs. The constant juggling act of prioritizing expenses takes a toll on their mental and emotional well-being. The system is rigged against them. Navigating the maze of government assistance and social services is often a daunting task, filled with bureaucratic red tape and long waiting periods. They are caught in a vicious cycle of poverty, with few avenues for escape. The stress of living in substandard conditions and the constant worry about the future can be overwhelming. The stereotype of the welfare queen is a harmful myth. It unfairly stigmatizes single mothers who are doing everything in their power to provide for their families. It ignores the reality of single mothers who are working hard to create better lives for their children. They are pursuing education, working multiple jobs, and still finding time to support their children's academic and emotional needs. They are not asking for handouts. They are seeking opportunities to improve their circumstances and contribute positively to society. They are asking for a fair chance, a living wage, and access to affordable housing. These are basic human rights that should be accessible to all, regardless of their family structure. These mothers deserve our respect and support. Their resilience and determination in the face of adversity are truly inspiring. They are the embodiment of resilience, strength, and unwavering love. Their stories are a testament to the power of the human spirit. We must dismantle the systemic barriers that keep them trapped in poverty. It is our collective responsibility to advocate for policies that support single mothers and their families. We must create a society that values all families, regardless of their structure. By doing so, we can ensure a brighter future for the next generation.
For many women, home is not a safe haven. It is a place of fear, control, and violence. Domestic violence is a pervasive issue that affects women across all socioeconomic backgrounds. It knows no boundaries. Escaping an abusive partner is often a matter of life and death. But for many women, leaving means risking homelessness. Shelters are often full. They have long waiting lists. This leaves women with few options. They may be forced to return to their abusers, or they may end up on the streets, facing a different kind of danger. The trauma of abuse can have long-lasting effects. It can make it difficult for women to find and maintain stable housing. The system often fails to protect these vulnerable women. They need more than just temporary shelter. They need comprehensive support services, including legal aid, counseling, and job training. They need a path to independence and healing. We must break the silence surrounding domestic violence. We must challenge the societal norms that perpetuate it. We must hold abusers accountable and ensure that survivors have access to the resources they need to rebuild their lives.
The American dream is slipping out of reach for many. The cost of housing has skyrocketed in recent years, while wages have not kept pace. This has created an affordability crisis that is pushing families to the brink. In major cities across the country, finding an affordable place to live is nearly impossible. The shortage of affordable housing is a major factor driving homelessness. When the cost of rent consumes a significant portion of one's income, other essential needs fall by the wayside. Families are forced to make impossible choices between paying rent, buying food, or seeking medical care. This is not just a problem for the poor. It affects working families, seniors living on fixed incomes, and even middle-class earners. The lack of affordable housing threatens the fabric of our communities. It deepens economic inequality and perpetuates cycles of poverty. We need bold solutions to address this crisis. We need to invest in affordable housing development. We need to implement rent control measures. We need to ensure that everyone has access to safe, decent, and affordable housing.
Oakland, California, a city known for its vibrant culture and progressive values, is also a stark example of the housing crisis gripping America. The city, once a beacon of opportunity and diversity, now finds itself at a crossroads. Once a hub for working-class families, Oakland's neighborhoods were filled with the sounds of children playing and the hum of local businesses. Oakland is now facing an affordability crisis of epic proportions. The skyline, dotted with construction cranes, tells a story of rapid development and gentrification. The median home price has soared to over $1 million, making homeownership a distant dream for many longtime residents. While average rents for a one-bedroom apartment hover around $2,500 per month, the consequences are devastating. Families are forced to make tough choices between paying rent and other essentials. Longtime residents are being priced out of their homes, their communities, and their way of life. Families are being pushed into overcrowded apartments where living conditions are far from ideal, or forced to leave the city altogether, seeking more affordable living conditions elsewhere. The streets of Oakland tell a story of two cities, one for the affluent, living in luxury, and another for those struggling to survive, often invisible to the more fortunate. The tech boom, while bringing economic growth and innovation, has also exacerbated the housing crisis. The influx of high-paid tech workers has driven up demand for housing, leaving those with lower incomes with few options. The competition for housing is fierce, and the prices continue to climb, leaving those with lower incomes with few options. The competition for housing is fierce, and the prices continue to climb. The city is grappling with a growing homeless population, a visible reminder of the human cost of this crisis. Tents and makeshift shelters line the streets, a stark contrast to the wealth just blocks away. A visible reminder of the human cost of this crisis. The faces of the homeless are a constant reminder of the city's struggle. Oakland's story is not unique. Cities across the nation are facing similar challenges. It is a microcosm of what is happening in cities across America. The housing crisis is a national issue, affecting millions. The gap between the haves and the have-nots is widening, creating a divided society. The American dream is becoming increasingly out of reach for many. As the cost of living continues to rise, the dream of owning a home or even affording rent slips further away.